Good morning. It is 7:06 a.m. on Thursday, May 12th, 2022. I'm Christiana Ellis and I have actually been up for a little while and mostly just kind of staring into space, vaguely scrolling Twitter or whatever. This is 5 more minutes. Yeah, I'm just still brain not quite completely awake yet. Working on getting Rocket to sort of reset back to not waking up quite so early. But like the dilemma is, let's say my alarm is set for 6:30 and he wakes me up at 5. It's like by the time I'm awake, I kind of have to get up and pee, at which point he's persuaded, "Oh, good, we're doing a thing." And then if I try to go back to bed at that point without taking him outside, you know, it's a whole thing. And but then it starts to become a question of like, if that happens at 4:30, probably I get back in bed. But then when it starts being like, okay, but what if it's at 5:30? And by the time I would be getting back into bed, it's 5:45. Do I try to get that extra 45 minutes or do I do without? Yeah, so anyway, I'm a little bit sleepy this morning. Making some progress. My suspicion is that he started waking up earlier. I think I mentioned this the other day, that I think that he was getting sort of acidic tummy from having his stomach be empty. Which means what I'm doing to try to help combat that is spacing his food out more, including giving him some right before bed. Which is tricky just because I want to make sure that I don't just start giving him a lot more food in total, because, it's important to try to keep him being a healthy boy. And that's working relatively well, but, it's still a process, and it just means that I'm extra tired this morning and was having a hard time getting my brain engaged enough to try to actually speak in coherent sentences, which I think I'm mostly accomplishing. Mostly? I mean, I guess you can be the judge. I I got the little notification that I needed to change the filter in my air purifier, and that was one of those things where, like, when I went to go change it, it's like, oh yeah, part of this is a screen that I'm supposed to like wipe off more frequently than I changed the whole filter, and it was overdue. And it just goes to show, though, that the amount of dust that was collected on there just makes me think, yeah, I'm glad I have this. I mean, it's perhaps could be considered a luxury item, but I appreciate it. I am just, gosh, yeah, sorry, I'm just still, I apologize. Yeah, still just kind of brain not fully awake today. I watched yesterday back to back because they're not very long. I watched the first two Friday the 13th movies, which I had seen the first one, but not the second one. But the first one I hadn't seen in a long time, and so I decided to watch both of them. And I'm trying actually right now to remember what it was that inspired that, other than just the general fact that I feel like I have a semi okay genre awareness of horror in general, and I feel like I've been aware enough of the slasher genre to have opinions about it, but I was just realizing it's like, well, but this is one of those major franchises that I feel like I've never seen the proper setup ones, and I don't actually honestly remember what it was that but why those movies and why yesterday. I can't remember why. But suffice to say, part of I think the interest and the thing that's interesting, about those two movies, when we think of the Friday the 13th movies, we're thinking of Jason, right? Big killer in the hockey mask. But I think what's kind of interesting to think about in terms of that franchise is that he doesn't even get the hockey mask until I'm pretty sure movie 3, right? In the first movie, he's not even the killer at all. And then in the second movie, he is, but he doesn't have the mask. He wears a bag on his head. And so it's a little bit fascinating to think that the iconic image of a killer from a slasher franchise literally doesn't even show up until the third movie. Anyway, I don't know that that's a problem. I just think it's of note, I suppose. Anyway, those movies are exactly what you think they are. They're cheesy, low production value, relatively poor action choreography, but they have kind of the like campy thrills, um, and the all the tropes of the what we think of as the slasher movie. That in some ways, I think there's influences from Texas Chainsaw Massacre and from Halloween, but then I think in some ways Friday the 13th kind of finally codifies them in a way that they were just sort of hinted at and inspiring with the previous movies, but then Friday the 13th is the one that's like, no, these are the rules. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow for 5 more minutes.